All right, we have the other big game going on Sunday. One of the other ones is in the AFC now. The Bengals at the Steelers. Steelers 3-point favorite. Total of 48. You got the AFC North titles on the line. Bengals had that tie, so they're 10-4-1. And then the Steelers at 10-5. Bengals are on a terrific run, 7-2 straight up, 5-3-1 ATS run, culminating in that Monday night win, the comeback win over Denver, which was really big. The weather for this game in Pittsburgh, looking okay, 29 degrees, possible showers, maybe even a 70% chance of snow, but not much wind for the night. And then you have this Denver win when they played on Monday night. You know, Bengals offense had a couple of turnovers. They were only 2 of 11 on third down, but they scored a lot of points because Denver had 4 turnovers, which was key. And then, so Harvard, you know, they won. Pittsburgh's going to have home field here. So can they do it one more time and beat the Bengals?
Well, first of all, you mentioned the weather back there in Pittsburgh. Why would anybody live there? It was 70 degrees out here in Vegas yesterday. I took my kids to the outdoor skating rink, and they almost had to close it because the ice was melting faster than they could try to freeze it. I mean, 70 degrees in December, come on, And, another thing, too, I started writing these notes up after the Monday night game that Cincinnati just walloped Denver as far as the final score, the emotions, the comeback, the interceptions, what Kirkpatrick did. He sparked them. It looked like the defense maybe is coming back a little bit. But who would have ever thought that Cincinnati could win that game last night if you knew A.C. Green was going to have 0 catches? So, these are the positive things that I'm trying to take and justify why I like Cincinnati on the road. First of all, I've had nothing but success over the years taking Cincinnati and the points. Even when Cincinnati wasn't that good of a team, they always played Pittsburgh well. I think the Bengals, they've got it back. It looked like their swag is there. They defeated Denver. The monkey might be off. Andy Dalton and the team, I think they were 18-41 the last 59 primetime games. I don't know how you can have that record, but it doesn't matter. The monkey's off Andy Dalton. And I think there's a reason why. They had this rookie come in from LSU. His name is Jeremy Hill. Here's a guy that just tied, he's the 3rd rookie in history. He just tied Eric Dickerson and Curtis Martin. He just had his 4th game with at least 140 yards in rushing. I mean, there's some guys that could go a whole year and never get 140 yards in rushing. He's done it 4 times this year. This guy's a stud. So that means the defensive coordinators for Pittsburgh and all these teams, they have to sit there and just have another complete session of hours and hours of game tape on what happens when Jeremy Hill gets the ball. Before it was, let's just focus on Dalton and see if he's going to hit the receivers and things like that. This is a little, I don't know, it's recent revenge or whatever you want. Pittsburgh won the last match, but 42-21, it was very embarrassing. And you got to remember, there might have been a little quit in that game. The Steelers had 229 yards in the 4th quarter alone. Hell, that's a whole game for some of these teams. The thing I look at is there's a glaring number. This is a quarterback lead, wide receivers, quarterbacks, passing. Pittsburgh, 27th against the pass. I'm not saying they can't win the game, but to cover that number or have a backdoor cover or anything when you're talking about covering the numbers, when you're 27th against the pass and that same defense now has to look at the running ability of Jeremy Hill and giving those extra options to Andy Dalton, a guy that just got a primetime game off his back. I think that the numbers are going to come into play, and I'm definitely going to be taking a nice play on Cincinnati in this game, taking the points.
All right. Well, they did meet on December 7th, and it was actually a close game for a while until the Steelers pulled out late, 42-21. Roethlisberger had a big game, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks against them. And what he did is he utilized that running back, Bell, because when he went play action, he was 5 of 7 for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got to believe you're going to see that again on Sunday. So, Zach, we have this young Steeler defense that I wonder, have they got some ugly numbers in the secondary, but have they improved enough from the early struggles to deliver a division title here?
I would have to say yes, and this is probably one of the first weeks in since September, October that Hollis and I have disagreed on a couple of games, but that's okay. This late in the season, but
that's why they have side bets.
Yeah.
No juice.
Right.
No juice, and I'll tell you what, I can't put up for both of us. I'll definitely put up for me.
But with Pittsburgh, you have to like what they've been doing. They're doing just enough defensively against Atlanta last week, against Kansas City. And they're getting fortunate as well. Fortunate turnovers. They had two fortunate turnovers against Kansas City on plus side of the territory, and then a dumb decision by Andy Reid to go for it on 4th and inches instead of kicking the field goal there. But that's football. But this is the point where I like to look into the future here. We're going to be in the playoffs in a week, and we're not even going to think about week 17. But which team do you believe is going to be having a home game versus which team is going to be on the road? And that's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've shown in the past. Andy Dalton, they get into the playoffs. They're boosting people right now with this Andy Dalton inflation. 4th year in a row, Andy Dalton's made the playoffs.
Well, that's
leading to the playoffs. But what has he done? Remember another quarterback that did that, Mark Sanchez. Got that big contract, and what happened? Self-destructed. Andy Dalton is on a good team. He's not leading them to the playoffs. Jeremy Hill's leading them to the playoffs. That Bengals defense creating turnovers is leading them to the playoffs. Andy Dalton is still averaging 2 to 3 turnovers a game. And I think Pittsburgh's one of those teams that has him figured out. They play them enough, and they will expose Andy Dalton. It's going to be a closer game than just like the line shows, -3. It's not going to be like the Green Bay game where I think Green Bay wins big, but Pittsburgh will find a way to win this, and there's a lot riding on this game as well as far as seeding. Obviously, both teams want to have a home game, and there might even be a chance that one of them gets a bye if Denver slips up against Oakland, which is probably improbable. But they're going to get the 3rd seed here, and I think Pittsburgh gets that home game. And I'm not sure if this even has a chance to be another matchup in the wild card round, 3rd versus 6th seed, but it could be a possibility, so who knows. But Pittsburgh, they just have the best. 2 to 3 weeks ago, I would have said New England has the best balance. But right now, with special teams, offense, and defense, I like the way Pittsburgh is playing. They have home run threats on special teams with Antonio Brown. Their passing game and running game is balanced from what it was 6 weeks ago. Before it was just Big Ben throwing the ball, but now they're running the ball with Le'Veon Bell with good balance. In their defense, those ads they did with adding James Harrison and the other old man for quick contracts have paid off. James Harrison's playing like he did 5 years ago, and he's really providing an electric spark for that defense that's had problems before.
They're 29th in defense against the pass.
Yep.
You can't ignore that after all these games.
But Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton doesn't have to lead me to a playoff win. All he has to do is lead me to the cash window this Sunday. Thank you very much.
Well,
Take the 5.
I think the only way that Cincinnati can do it, they're going to have to
When did
attack.
it go down to 3?
Yeah, it's 3.5.
Oh, it is?
It's a 3.
Oh,
3
so
minus
we got
120.
so
Early
the
money.
Sharpies also like my side. All right. I like that. That's good.
I think Cincinnati is going to have to attack the one spot of the Pittsburgh defense that might be vulnerable, and that's the pass defense that Harvard mentioned. 255 yards per game they're giving up, which is why I'm going to look at the total. No wind projected, which is very good if you like to play totals over. A little bit of snow, but not a monsoon coming down. Both teams really have a lot of offensive weapons and potential balance, and there's some suspect defenses at times. And the erratic Bengal defense, boy, they're 16th against the pass, 23rd against the run. And when the Steelers face a team with a winning road record at home, they are 21-8-1 over the total. So I'll look at a very similar to the other game they played, 42-21, a high-scoring game between the Steelers and the Bengals. All right, let's get to some best bet, guys. In Harvard, you're on a 69-39 run with all football plays for the season. What do you got for this weekend?
And you know, it's amazing. My best bets are right at 65%, and my overall is at 64%. So whether it's the best bet or not, sometimes I put too much emphasis on these best bets. Is this my best bet of the week? Well, it might be the best bet if I had to go in there and bet something today. But, I was looking at the Miami Dolphins. I like the way they started the year, beating New England. I think that they're a team that wants to close on a positive note because they do very well at home. I think they have a lot of things going for them. who knows? Maybe even they got an offer in the makings to get Harbaugh down there coaching. They always wanted to have him down in the South Beach, but it doesn't even matter. There's two things going. One, I like the way Miami's going. Forget about last week. Laid the 5.5. I think they know how to take care of business down there. I like almost every aspect of that team. And the other thing is the Jets. They rose to their occasion. They had their Super Bowl last week against New England. They had the going away party for their coach, Rex Ryan, because I don't think he's going to be around anywhere. And I think they just said, hey, let's get it together. Let's send them off with a point spread cover or a win or a close game, or let's at least not get blown out by the New England Patriots. They kept it very respectable. All the sharp money came in on the Jets. Everybody's happy with them. So let's just let them bow down, exit, go play golf for the whole spring and things like that. And they did their job last week. So let's take Miami minus the 5.5 for my best bet. But your best bet probably is to give JimFeist.com a little peek and, support these handicappers for the rest of the season. Bowl games, the basketball turns into the conferences right after the first of the year. But this weekend, before we get too far out there, a little after holiday money for Christmas, pay some of those credit card bills coming in. We got the Holiday Bowl with USC Nebraska, the Independence Bowl, Miami, South Carolina. Those are two of my plays I know I'm making on this offer. The 3-game Sunday includes my one and only game of the year, and it comes with that guarantee. I'm going to package these 5 games. You're going to go 4-1 or 5-0, or I'm going to give you every bowl game that I play between now and December the 31st. So just remember, it's only $69, $13 a game. All games are rated, no small plays. So, come and visit all of us and myself and just hit a little click on that JimFeist.com under Harvard, and you'll be happy you did for this week.
All right, Zach, let's get a best bet from you, trying to add to your 39-21-1 NFL run, plus 49-14 in college basketball. How can folks find you this week for your daily plays?
I anticipate, obviously, we're going to have a mini break here after today, Tuesday, in college basketball, the holiday break, 5 to 6 days off for teams for the holiday break, and then conference play begins. As often the tricky time for all sports bettors out there. Conference play is a lot different from this non-conference play that we've seen the last month and a half. So I tend to slow down my college basketball picks for the first week and a half of conference play, and my focus will be on these top 7 to 8 bowl game plays that I have in NFL playoffs. And I'm also starting the NBA on Christmas Day. It's been so bombarding with college basketball and these other sports. But Christmas Day, I will be releasing my NBA plays, and I've been very good on Christmas Day for the NBA. Best bet in the NFL, I've lost track of what our best bet record's been, but I know all 3 of us have done well throughout the season. But I'm going to focus on a game that, as Hollis mentioned many times, makes you want to puke when you think about it. And down in the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, one of these teams is going to be in the playoffs in a week. And as bad as it is, but one of those teams is going to be in the playoffs. But I watched, I think it was 5 weeks ago, that game, Carolina and Atlanta, when Atlanta beat them. That was about as bottom of the season that I think Carolina was. They were down big at home, and for some reason or another, they fought through a little bit. They almost came back and won that game. I think they made it a 3-point game. They actually tied it, and then Atlanta got a field goal or something like that. But I noticed something, a switch, the way they were playing that game. And one thing with Atlanta is they do not destroy teams. They never do, because they're not a balanced team on defense, and they have issues on their offense. Obviously, Steven Jackson's a little too old to be running the football. They've tried to use their young backs. They're hit or miss with them getting big carries. They don't have the tight end like they did last year with Tony Gonzalez, who, if you look at Carolina's defense, the tight ends always destroy them, and they did in years past with Tony Gonzalez, but they don't have that weapon this year. They're beat up at wide receiver. Julio Jones came back with his hip injury. He had a big game, but how's that hip injury going to be this week? And then obviously Roddy White he'll be gone after this year. I think they cut him, and they have to go somewhere else at the receiver position. Devin Hester, bad signing, shouldn't be a third wide receiver for the Falcons. Though I like Carolina. They came back this last few weeks. Nobody even thought they'd be in the playoff position. Obviously, Cam Newton got in his car accident. Derek Anderson came and got them a win, and Cam Newton came back last week and got them a win. All of a sudden, New Orleans faltered, and they're the division leaders right now with that half-game standing advantage. I think they go on the road, and they get this last win to get into the playoffs, and who knows if their defense can come to life. I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, because they were a 12-4 team last year, and it didn't come out of nowhere. So watch out for this Carolina Panthers team. If they get to 7-8-1 and make the playoffs, who knows if they can pull off an upset in the playoffs if they have the right matchup, a.k.a. Detroit Lions.
All right. My best bet will be that Bengals-Steelers game over the total, another shootout with all that offensive talent. And Jim Feist, he's off that NFL Game of the Year on Sunday. That was Seattle Seahawks 35-6. If you missed that, that is NFL Total of the Year going this Sunday, $79 online at jimfeist.com. If you want to get it for half price, you can call Jim's office directly, 1-866-841-1655. Also, if you want to get free picks every day from Jim, just call his free pick phone, 1-855-737-5376. That'll do it for the final regular season of the NFL. For Proline, we will see you back next week as the NFL playoffs start. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you then.